A sudden explosion rocked the laboratory, flames roaring up the walls in an instant. The blast trapped me and Liam, Khloe's first love, inside the inferno. Khloe, my girlfriend, didn't hesitate. She chose him. She dragged Liam out first, leaving me behind in the fire. I didn't stop her. I didn't beg. I didn't even call her name. Because in my past life, I had done exactly that. Back then, after revealing that I was the dean's son, I had used my family's power to force her to save me instead. Liam had died in that fire. And later, Khloe had used my guilt as a weapon, bleeding my family dry, locking me inside another lab, and burning me alive. I still remembered kneeling on the floor, begging her for mercy as flames crawled up the walls. She had looked down at me with cold, twisted satisfaction and said, "Ryan, if you hadn't threatened me with your family's influence back then, would Liam have died so horribly? I'll make you suffer 100 times what Liam endured in that fire." Then she set me ablaze. And now, when I opened my eyes again, everything reset. I was back to the exact day of the fire. A loud crash rang out. A cabinet slammed down onto my body, jolting me awake. Thick smoke flooded my lungs, making me cough violently. My right leg throbbed with a dull, pulsing pain, and instinctively, I raised my arms to shield it. "No," I cried out. But my arms that should have been burned down to bone, were completely unharmed. How? Before I could process it, frantic voices pierced through the smoke. "Liam, Liam, are you okay?" That voice, so familiar it made my chest tighten. Then I heard his weak response nearby. "Khloe, help me." I lifted my head in disbelief. Khloe was kneeling beside Liam, desperately trying to lift the heavy table pinning him down. Seeing them together stole the air from my lungs. Wait, hadn't this same woman locked me in a lab and burned me alive? The memory hit me, so hard my body curled in on itself, shaking uncontrollably. At the lab entrance, my colleague Ethan shouted, panic lacing his voice. "Khloe, are you insane? Save Ryan first. He's your boyfriend." That was when it hit me. This wasn't a dream. I had been reborn. Reborn to the day of the fire. With a creak, Khloe finally managed to move the table. Without sparing me even a glance, she helped Liam to his feet and rushed him toward the exit. I laughed bitterly. Wasn't it just like last time? I was her boyfriend, but her eyes had always been on Liam. Of course they were. Liam was handsome, almost unreal. A godlike figure at University Hospital. Rumored to be the young master of Sterling Medical. Even if Khloe hadn't been taken, she probably would have fallen for him long ago. I tried to stand, but the cabinet still pinned me down. Glass shards had shredded my lower leg, blood pouring freely. I couldn't move. Only then did Khloe finally look at me. There was no worry in her eyes, only irritation. She frowned. "Liam is Sterling Medical's only son. If anything happens to him, the entire hospital could collapse. I'm doing this for the greater good. Your injuries aren't serious. I'll come back for you once I get Liam out." I laughed again. If I hadn't lived through this once already, I might have believed her. The greater good? I was drenched in blood, and she said my injuries weren't serious. Ethan didn't hesitate. He tried to rush into the flames, but his colleagues grabbed him tightly. "Ethan, calm down. The lab is full of flammable and explosive materials. It's too dangerous." They were right. I remembered this clearly. In about 15 minutes, the lab would explode. Last time, after I'd been rescued, I'd immediately urged everyone to evacuate. Khloe had wanted to go back for Liam, but when the fire grew uncontrollable, she never re-entered. So how could I believe her promise now? I couldn't. But I didn't want innocent people to die for me. Summoning all my strength, I shouted, "Ethan, don't come in. It's going to explode. Run." The moment I said the word explode, Khloe froze. She turned back, disbelief flashing in her eyes. Then her gaze hardened, cold and distant, as if she were staring at a stranger. "Ryan, I never knew you were this manipulative," she said sharply. "The fire department will be here in half an hour. What will our colleagues think of me if you spread nonsense like this? Why can't you learn from Liam and be kinder?" Her self-righteous act made me laugh in pure contempt. When you were sleeping with me, I shot back, you didn't call me manipulative. Liam weakly tugged at Khloe's sleeve. Khloe, I feel sick. Instantly, her attention snapped back to him. Hang in there, Liam. I won't let anything happen to you. Then she supported him and walked away, without looking back. Gritting my teeth, I forced myself to push the cabinet off my body. Excruciating pain tore through my leg, but compared to what I'd endured in my past life, this was nothing. Watching Khloe leave with Liam, Ethan collapsed to the ground, disbelief written all over his face. Khloe, you're sick, he muttered. The dean won't let you get away with this. Ethan was the only one in the hospital who knew my true identity, but his words only made Khloe laugh. The dean won't let me get away with it, she scoffed. Ridiculous. Liam is Sterling Medical's only heir. He's the one the dean can't afford to lose. I dragged myself free from the cabinet, tearing the wound wider. Blood soaked through my clothes, but I didn't care. I had to live. Time was running out. I yelled hoarsely, "Don't beg her, Ethan. Just run." I would never forget the crazed hatred in Khloe's eyes in my past life as she poured gasoline over me. No love. Only rage. She had blamed me for Liam's death. She hated me that much. Before I could steady myself, Ethan suddenly charged back into the fire. Ryan, hold on. Smoke filled my lungs. My vision blurred. The only clear thing was Ethan's silhouette against the flames. You idiot. I screamed. Get out. He ignored me. Grinding his teeth, he hooked my arm over his shoulder and dragged me step by step toward the exit. The heat scorched our skin. I saw his hair catch fire, sparks flying, yet he didn't even flinch. He just kept pulling. Looking at his soot-blackened profile, emotions twisted violently in my chest. I glanced at my watch. Not much time left. If we didn't escape now, we'd both die. Taking a deep breath, I forced myself to stay conscious. Listen, I said. When I count to 3, we dive out. Don't hesitate. Don't worry about me. Understand? Ethan answered without looking back. Yell all you want. I'm not letting go. Warmth spread through my chest. No more arguing. I fixed my eyes on the lab doorway. Our only chance. 3, 2, 1. Jump. We lunged forward together. Boom. The explosion detonated just as we cleared the doorway. The shock wave hurled me to the ground. My ears rang violently. My vision turned white. I couldn't hear. I couldn't see. Only endless ringing. Then, through the haze, Ethan's trembling voice reached me. Ryan. Ryan, can you hear me? Summoning everything I had left, I forced my eyes open. I'm okay, just my leg, I whispered. Ethan looked down, horror flashing across his face. It's bad, he said thickly. Don't look, I muttered. Get help. He ran, returning moments later with colleagues and a stretcher. Their faces fell when they saw my injuries. My God, someone gasped. How many stitches will that take? The pain was unbearable, but I stayed conscious. As they wheeled me past the emergency room, I saw Khloe. She stood there, holding Liam's shoulders, comforting him. Like nothing had happened. Like I didn't exist. A head nurse examined my injuries and sighed. Ryan, such terrible luck. So many fractures. It could take a year to recover. She hesitated, then added softly, but your right hand wasn't injured. You'll still be able to perform surgery. I forced a weak smile. She leaned closer and whispered, I heard Liam's injuries are minor. Look how worried Dr. Khloe is. Ethan exploded. Khloe, you're disgusting. Before he could continue, Liam coughed weakly. Khloe, I'm tired. Khloe instantly turned to him, her voice tender. Just hang on, Liam. Help is coming. Then she snapped at Ethan. Isn't Ryan fine? He's my boyfriend. This doesn't concern you. Stop meddling. Disgust surged through me. I met her eyes and said the words I'd been holding back. From now on, we have no relationship. We're done. Ethan nodded fiercely. Good riddance. No point reasoning with an animal. Khloe froze, shock flashing across her face. Then she sneered. Ryan, what game are you playing now? Games. I scoffed. Are you even worthy of that? I looked at Liam. You chose to save another man over me. That's what you call a boyfriend." Liam burst into tears. "How can you say that? Khloe believed in you. She saved the one who needed her more." The room erupted in murmurs. "He's right. Liam was frail. Dr. Khloe did the right thing. Liam is Sterling Medical's heir." Then my father arrived. Khloe immediately rushed to him. "Dean," the lab exploded. "I risked my life to save Liam. He can strengthen our partnership with Sterling Medical." My father's expression darkened. "Where's Ryan?" Khloe replied smoothly. "Only Ryan and I were in the lab. Liam made no mistakes. Ryan should take full responsibility. His injuries aren't serious, but I suggest he shouldn't participate in experiments anymore. Liam can handle alone." My father's expression hardened even further. Lying on the stretcher, I sneered inwardly. "Just wait, Khloe. Without me, you'll have plenty of suffering ahead." Before I could even make out my father's face clearly, darkness swallowed me. When I woke again, it was already the evening of the next day. My entire body was immobilized. Plaster and thick bandages wrapped around my limbs, heavy and suffocating. But beneath the pain, beneath the exhaustion, there was something else. Something I hadn't felt in a long time. Rebirth. Ethan sat beside my bed, looking worn out but visibly relieved. His eyes were red, his voice hoarse as he spoke. "You idiot," he said, cracking despite himself. "Do you have any idea how badly you hurt yourself?" I smiled weakly. "At least I got my life back," I said softly. "This time, I don't owe Khloe anything. Neither my father nor I will die." Ethan exhaled deeply, rubbing his face. "Ryan, I told your father everything that happened. He's furious. He's calling an accident review meeting tomorrow." The mention of my father made my eyes sting. "Last time it was because of me that he suffered," I said quietly. Then I steadied myself. "Ethan, there's one more thing I need you to do." "What is it?" he asked. "The surveillance footage from the lab before the accident. Can you get it for me?" Ethan nodded, sounding noticeably more relaxed. "Already done. There was a small hiccup, but I handled it." I looked at him, guilt crashing over me. In my previous life, I thought Ethan was jealous of me. I believed he was targeting me. I cut him off, ended our friendship, and never once apologized. Now I understood how wrong I'd been, how blind I was, mistaking trash for treasure. Just as I was about to rest, the door opened. Khloe walked in. Liam followed behind her. He looked perfectly fine. His clothes were neat, his hair impeccably styled, not a single strand out of place. He adjusted his collar casually. Then his gaze landed on me, trapped in plaster, unable to move. Ethan scoffed. "The heartthrob looks completely unscathed, doesn't he?" Khloe ignored him and walked straight to my bedside, reaching for my hand. I recoiled in disgust. She didn't even seem to think she'd done anything wrong. Smiling, she said, "Ryan, see? You're fine, aren't you? Liam says he'll strengthen cooperation between Sterling Medical and our hospital. My promotion is basically secured now. Aren't you happy for me?" I let out a cold laugh. "Happy," I said. "I nearly died in that lab, and you want me to be happy for you?" Liam sighed dramatically, his expression darkening. "I didn't expect you to be this selfish," he said. "Willing to ruin Khloe's future over baseless jealousy. Honestly, I really look down on you." I stared at him coldly. "Do you know what a ruined future looks like?" I said. "Let me tell you, from the moment Khloe abandoned me, her future was already over." Khloe snapped. Her face twisted with anger as she pointed at me. "Ryan, Liam came to see you out of kindness. He even wanted to apologize. And this is your attitude." She sneered. "Don't forget, I'm your girlfriend. Instead of being grateful, you're cursing me? How much money do you even make with your dead-end job? Everything I do is for our future." Disgust surged in my chest. "Khloe," I said coldly, "don't forget, we already broke up. Get out." The argument grew louder, drawing attention from people outside the room. Someone whispered, "Dr. Ryan is fine now. Why make such a big deal?" Another murmured, "What's more important than his girlfriend's career? If it were me, I'd endure a little hardship." Then someone added smugly, "After all, if Dr. Khloe becomes successful, you'll benefit too." Ethan's voice cut through the noise, steady and sharp. "Stop gossiping. That's not what happened." He turned, scanning the crowd. "The dean is holding a review meeting tomorrow. When the truth comes out, we'll see who's embarrassed." Khloe finally looked at him, her brows knitting together. "What did you say?" she demanded. "What review?" Ethan crossed his arms and stared pointedly at Liam. "Yes, about the lab accident. Some people know exactly what happened." Liam visibly trembled. Color drained from his face, and he looked as though he might collapse. Khloe immediately rushed to support him. "Liam, don't be afraid," she said softly. "It's okay. I believe you." Liam leaned into her, his eyes filled with deep affection. "Khloe, I trust you," he said. "You won't believe their nonsense, right?" Then, as if recalling something painful, he spoke again. "That day in the lab, I clearly warned Ryan. I told him to be careful." He paused, his expression troubled. "But he wouldn't listen. He said I was meddling. And then the explosion happened. I really tried my best. I really wanted to save him." The room fell silent for a moment. Then whispers began spreading again. So it was Dr. Ryan's operational error. No wonder Dr. Khloe didn't save him. Liam was innocent. Seeing Liam appear so fragile only fueled Khloe's protectiveness. She turned on me, fury blazing in her eyes. "Ryan, you refuse to admit your mistake and still think you're right? Apologize to Liam now, and I'll put in a good word for you at tomorrow's meeting. Maybe you'll get off easy." Ethan and I exchanged a glance. Then I spoke, calm and unwavering. "If the two of you kneel and apologize to me right now, maybe I'll show mercy at the meeting." Liam gave a faint, ambiguous smile. "Ryan," he said softly, "I'm doing this for your own good. Why won't you accept it?" I'd had enough. Without another word, I pressed the nurse call button. The head nurse pushed through the crowd. "What's wrong?" she asked. I pointed at Khloe and Liam. "Correct me if I'm wrong," I said evenly. "Dr. Khloe and Dr. Liam aren't assigned to this department, are they? Why are they neglecting their duties?" The head nurse, who already disliked Khloe, responded coldly. "Dr. Khloe, please don't disturb Dr. Ryan. He just underwent surgery all night." Seeing she couldn't intimidate anyone, Khloe sputtered angrily, then grabbed Liam's hand and stormed out. Ethan watched me quietly for a long time. "I think you've changed," he said. I smiled, not bitterly, not mockingly. "Dying once really opens your eyes," I replied. "Makes you realize whether someone like Khloe is human or just a dog. A very expensive lesson." After dealing with urgent matters, my father came to see me. His eyes were bloodshot. Stubble covered his chin. Worry and exhaustion weighed heavily on his face. "Ryan, how did this happen?" he asked hoarsely. "I was only overseas for a short time. How did things turn out like this?" His voice broke. His trembling hand gently touched the gauze on my face. Looking at him, at how much he'd aged in such a short time, I couldn't hold back my tears. "Last time, because I trusted Khloe, the hospital my family had built over decades was stolen away. Everything was gone. My father couldn't bear the blow. He fell ill and passed away soon after. And Khloe, stepping over the ruins of my family, rose to fame as a new star in the medical world. Thank God. This time, he was still alive." I grabbed his hand, sobbing. "Ethan probably told you everything about the lab explosion," I said. "But that lab, you gave it to me, Dad. How could I not cherish it? It wasn't my fault." My father's voice was low, his anger tightly restrained. "Ryan, don't worry. Whether he's truly the sole heir of Sterling Medical or not, I'm not afraid." He met my eyes. "I won't let you take the blame for nothing." The next morning, Ethan wheeled me into the meeting room. It felt less like a review and more like a trial. Khloe and Liam sat across from me, both wearing expressions of grievance, as if I were the villain. Hospital executives filled the room. My father sat at the head of the table, his face grim. When he saw me, pain flickered in his eyes, quickly buried beneath authority. "Dr. Liam," my father said, staring straight at him. Only you and Dr. Ryan were in the lab at the time. You claim the explosion was caused by Dr. Ryan's operational error. Liam trembled. Dean, it's true. I warned him. I warned him. My father slammed his hand on the table. The sound echoed violently. Liam nearly fell out of his chair. Do you know the consequences of lying? My father demanded. Khloe jumped to her feet. Dean, why are you so sure Dr. Liam is lying? My father shot her a cold glance. This is not your place to speak. Khloe immediately sat down, her face pale. Though she had some reputation in the hospital, she wouldn't dare defy him. Liam looked pitiful. Dean, how could I joke using the Sterling name? The room erupted into murmurs. Executives suddenly leaned forward, whispering excitedly. He really is the Sterling heir. Sterling Medical is our biggest partner. One executive spoke carefully. If we offend him. Another added, nobody died. Just reprimand Dr. Ryan and let it go. My father's face turned pale with rage. He pointed at them. So because Dr. Liam is the son of a partner company, Dr. Ryan should bear all responsibility? A chill ran through me as I watched them prepare to sacrifice me for their own benefit. The executives avoided eye contact. My father's expression darkened. With a sharp wave of his hand, Ethan understood immediately. The screen lit up. High-definition surveillance footage filled the conference room. Liam's face turned deathly white. He shook his head frantically. Impossible, this is impossible. Surveillance is forbidden in labs. My father replied coldly. This lab was a personal gift to my son. Do I need your permission? The room went dead silent. Khloe turned to me in shock. I remained expressionless. Ethan told you, I said calmly. Someone stammered nervously. Dean, are you saying Ryan is your son? Ethan ignored the questions and pressed play. The footage showed me in a lab coat and mask, calmly conducting the experiment. Everything was normal. Then, without warning, the container ignited. Flames erupted. Smoke billowed. Khloe pointed at the screen. See? Right there. Ryan, you must have made a mistake. Don't worry, I'll take the punishment for you. Liam's eyes filled with tears. I really didn't want to embarrass Ryan, he said weakly. It's my fault. If only I'd warned him sooner. My father slammed his hand down again. But the executives, already cowed by the Sterling name, bowed their heads. Dean, one said carefully. Since it's like this, perhaps we should let it go. One is the Sterling heir, the other is your son. Making a big issue won't benefit anyone. For a brief moment, doubt flickered in my heart. Then it vanished. After all, I had performed this experiment hundreds of times. I could have done it blindfolded. More importantly, my project didn't even involve flammable materials. Even if I had made a mistake, it could never have caused spontaneous combustion. Ethan gave me a reassuring look, a small smile tugging at the corner of his lips. Executives, he continued calmly, you only saw Ryan's container ignite. But did you see what he was actually doing? It was true. The instruments had blocked the view of my hands. The footage only showed my upper body. But then Ethan zoomed in on the glass cabinet behind my workstation. The enlarged image made everything unmistakably clear. It showed Liam sneaking up behind my station. And while my attention was elsewhere, he furtively poured an unknown reagent into my container. The entire action took only a few seconds. My fist clenched in fury. Liam. My father stood and pointed directly at him. What else do you have to say? Liam's face drained of color. His legs gave out, and he collapsed onto the floor. This must be a misunderstanding, he stammered. No, it's Ethan. You maliciously edited this video, didn't you? At that moment, my father spoke briefly into his phone. The conference room doors were thrown open. My father's assistant entered first, his expression grim. Behind him walked a stern, elegantly dressed woman whose sharp gaze swept across the room before locking onto Liam. Mr. Liam, she said coldly. The heir of Sterling Medical MMS. Sterling. The executives shot to their feet, their legs trembling as they turned toward my father. Dean, one of them stammered, perhaps we should handle this privately. Our hospital can't afford to lose sterling medical support. My father sneered. He lit a cigarette and exhaled slowly, a smoke ring drifting lazily through the air. Miss Sterling, he said coolly, take a good look. Is this really your son? At the mention of Miss Sterling, Liam's face went deathly pale. He lowered his head, trembling, unable to meet her eyes. The woman scoffed, her gaze dripping with contempt. My son is currently pursuing his graduate studies abroad, she said flatly. I came today to see which audacious impostor dares to impersonate him. With that, she grabbed Liam by the chin and forced his head up. Handsome enough, I suppose, she said coldly, but such a venomous heart. The executives, who moments earlier had been terrified of offending Liam, instantly turned on him. Are you kidding me? He's a fake. How dare you deceive our hospital? Outrageous. People like him should be jailed. He nearly framed the dean's son. Khloe, who had been ready to speak up, shrank back when Liam shot her a vicious glare. After a moment, she managed to squeeze out tearfully, Liam, how could you do this to Ryan? I felt nothing but disgust. Her hypocrisy was nauseating. Liam suddenly burst into laughter, as if he'd heard the greatest joke in the world. Khloe, he sneered, what right do you have to judge me? Didn't you enjoy my lies too? He shrugged off Miss Sterling's hand and pointed directly at Khloe. Ever since you thought I was the Sterling medical heir, you've been following me around like a pathetic dog, wagging your tail. Am I wrong? His laughter echoed through the room. For a brief moment, I almost felt sorry for Khloe. Almost. But the truth was out. She was nothing but a hypocrite. Liam's case went to court quickly. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison and had his medical license permanently revoked. He was released early for good behavior. Khloe, meanwhile, was fired by my father. No other hospital dared to hire her. Once a rising star in the medical world, she became a complete pariah. A year later, after my body had mostly recovered, I returned to work at the hospital with my father's permission. To my surprise, I saw Khloe again. She was sneaking into the hospital, wearing a baseball cap and a mask. Ethan wrinkled his nose in disgust. Does she really think dressing like that makes her unrecognizable? I paused. Ethan leaned closer, grinning mischievously. Didn't you know? She caught that disease. Our hospital is top-notch at treating it, so she has no choice but to come here. He chuckled. Serves her right. I sneered. That disease suits her perfectly. That evening, as I left work, Khloe suddenly appeared in front of me in the parking lot. I jumped back instinctively. She rushed to steady me, but I flinched away. Rubbing her head awkwardly, she forced a smile. I heard from the nurses that you were back today, she said softly. Ryan, do you know how long I've been looking for you? We never broke up. How could you leave me? I took a deep breath, my expression cold and unmoved. I told you we broke up a year ago. Stop looking for me. Suddenly, she grabbed my wrist, pressing down on an old injury. Pain shot through me. Let go. I growled. She tightened her grip, teeth clenched. Ryan, if it weren't for your father, how would I have ended up like this? Shouldn't you take responsibility for me? I scoffed. You're hilarious. You caught a filthy disease, and now you're telling me I'm responsible? Have some shame. Her face turned an ugly shade of purple, humiliation and rage twisting her features. She raised her hand to slap me. Smack. A hand struck her face hard. Khloe. I turned. It was Liam. Freshly released from prison, he looked nothing like the polished man he once was. His face was twisted with rage. He pointed at her and screamed, I looked for you the moment I got out. Turns out you used me like a free gigolo and tossed me aside. And now you dare sneak around looking for Ryan behind my back. Stunned, Khloe froze for a few seconds. Then she shoved Liam away. Get lost, she snapped. Take a look at yourself in a puddle. You think you can compare to Ryan? Ryan is the dean's son. What are you? I sneered loudly. Khloe, that nasty disease of yours can't wait. Remember to come for your checkups every day. Don't spread it to others. Liam's eyes widened in horror. What? Khloe, you have a venereal disease? Khloe, you infected me. The two of them began brawling right there in the parking lot. I had no interest in watching. I got into my car, slammed the door shut, and locked it. Behind me, like rabid dogs, they fought even more fiercely. Rolling my eyes, I opened the workgroup chat and messaged the security captain. 2 lunatics fighting in the parking lot. Need assistance ASAP. The message had barely sent when I heard a loud thud. I looked up sharply. Liam was lying in a pool of blood. A car stood nearby. The driver clutched his head, screaming, "Oh my God." Khloe tried to run, but security guards rushed in and caught her immediately. Hospital staff swarmed the scene. Liam was pronounced dead on the spot. Parking lot surveillance clearly showed Khloe pushing him into the path of the car. She was convicted of intentional homicide. As a doctor, I knew her disease was incurable. Let her rot slowly in prison for the rest of her life.